Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Rats on Film, the show where a bunch of film rats chat about movies. Book to screen, rat chat on people we meet on vacation. Today on the show, I have Jordan.
Hello.
Madeline.
Hi.
And I'm your host, Xander. Welcome to the show, everybody. All right, so you guys are quite big on romance novels. Specifically, big fans of Emily Henry.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is her first book that has been adapted into a feature film, just came out. And I feel like this is kind of a big deal for the romance book community.
It is,
correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like this one coming out and then when the Love Hypothesis comes out, like these are like the two, pillar authors for at least me, but also I feel like
I think
for
absolutely.
like
The foundations of book talk, basically.
yeah, exactly. So it's a pretty big deal that they're happening.
Yeah.
And that this one happened.
So I've not read the book. I watched the movie with you. I'm going to host, but also discuss a little bit. But I'm going to kind of like leave it to you guys to talk about since you guys are familiar with the book and more entrenched in the culture of the Emily Henry romance novels. Mm-hmm. Do you want to give a little plot summary to start about it? This is just a Rat Chat episode, no ranking or anything. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the movie.
So basically, the movie is about, it goes over several years and it flashes back and forth between two friends in the current day versus their previous vacations. They made a pact to go on a trip together every year to keep throughout their friendship. And it's sort of, a friends to lovers. It flashes back and forward and it's just more of a development of a relationship through these amazing travels.
Yeah, I feel like that flashback, flash forward, and then multiple vacations is like what makes this one different than other friends to lover stories.
Yeah, I read it when it came out and I hadn't read it again, but I did see the movie in a test screening about 8 months ago and I just loved it. Like it invigorated my spark again. I went and read it again. And what I discovered, not that this is like how good of an adaptation is, I'm someone who is fine about adaptation. Like I don't really get caught up in it has to be exactly the same. For me, this one really, while it might not be word for word exact, they've really captured the essence of the love story and the characters and the vibe, which to me just makes it a great movie to watch. I feel like this is the kind of story that I love a lot, where it's like friends over time. They, you check in with them every year or so. Normal people, love Rosie. Like obviously When Harry Met Sally is a big reference for this one. One Day, hate that one, but whatever. So I feel like because of that, it could have easily been a TV series. So putting it into a movie, quite a challenge. And what they did was they pulled out the big beats of the relationship story and they put them within like a shorter number of holidays. And I think it really works for me. I think you get everything that you need. A fun, happy love story. It's bright, it's colorful. It's really exciting to see this transition to the big screen.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Almost on every point. This is probably my least favorite of Emily Henry's books. Maybe the newest one falls below, but I believe.
Oh, true.
But honestly, just in memory, I'm not a huge fan in general of friends to lovers. Like I like the on again, off again friends to lovers trope, I think, a bit more than just like the genuine friends to lovers. So it just depends. But I was a really big fan of the movie. I thought it was done really well. And I was a little nervous when Netflix got the rights because I was afraid that it would have like
the Netflix vibe.
Yeah, and like it wouldn't be shot on location. It would just feel very like on a set somewhere that like kind of felt bad. But I thought it looked really good. They were like actually in real places, which I thought was really nice. I loved their chemistry.
Yes.
One thing that like I really believed in this one was that they were friends, which I feel like is something that maybe that's why I don't like friends to lovers when it's done badly, is that like maybe I do like it when it feels like they really are friends and like they're friends and then the feelings shift to something different. But I thought that this one handled it really well, where like obviously they do like the When Harry Met Sally, like they're doing the college road trip home thing in the beginning and there's like a bit of tension. You see the differences in their personalities, but I feel like they become friends pretty quickly and it's believable to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. For me, that's the same thing. Like with those other sort of prop name movies that I named, like it either has to have that really genuine friendship where they genuinely start out as just friends and then they develop over time and you can sort of see the moment where both of them have that realization. It's not at the same time, but they genuinely are making this pact because they want to stay friends. It doesn't have anything more than that. I like this one again, like I was saying about how they had to shorten it a little bit, because in Love, Rosie, the book, They don't get together until they're 50.
What? I've never read the book.
I don't have
I've only seen
time
the
for
movie.
that.
I love the movie.
I don't give a shit. I don't care about old people. I don't have time for that.
Almost dead anyway.
So putting like the conciseness into this movie, I think it's really, really good. And I think the ending is just, I love it.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny the way that it calls back to everything, and Emily Bader is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I agree. I think the ending scene, I'm a huge fan of like someone running, running to get the person that they want. I feel like it would have almost been an easier adaptation to do a show, because there are like chapters in the book that are in different places that very easily could have been episodes. In recent history, The Summer I Turned Pretty, I think extended things way too long, and maybe would have benefited from being, condensed into like this small arc of a love romance. But I think that's why this one, like, when people are saying, oh, I wish it was a series, I'm like, no, like I don't want that, because they would have just added stuff that was irrelevant. And sometimes less is more.
Changed stuff anyway.
Yeah, so true. And I feel like the most important thing, and you mentioned this, is just like the emotional beats are there, and that's really what you want in a movie and like what you need. And I feel like the character development for both characters on their own happens, and you see both of them like developing into the people that they are becoming, independent from one another, and then coming together. And I feel like that's all I want. You know what I mean? It's kind of beautiful to watch friends grow together over time and then figure it out.
Yeah.
So, Xander?
Yeah, I thought this was pretty solid. I'm not familiar with the book at all, so I just went into it as just a Netflix rom-com. It's a genre that I do quite like, that I feel is lacking in recent years, and they feel like they've kind of been relegated to Hallmark movie level movies. And I did like that this was like on locations, and it felt like a real proper movie. I am not versed in all these tropes you guys are talking about with like friends to lovers, enemies to lovers. Like, I'm aware of it via you.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I know or pick up on things. My takeaway from this is I thought that the two leads had really good chemistry. I thought that they were both really quite good with each other. I didn't love the When Harry Met Sally ripoff scene in the car. I feel like that I was on edge. And then as they actually developed the friendship between them, I really kind of got on board. And I really liked the non-linear storytelling device in this. I thought it helped keep the drama and the suspense going of, you kind of learn early on that something happened to them. They've not been talking, and it takes you quite a ways down the road. I mean, obviously to figure out what that was. And I sort of like that device, and I liked their dynamic together. I think I bumped a little bit on I love When Harry Met Sally, and I feel like it was way too reminiscent of it. And I think also the mistake that they made that When Harry Met Sally didn't was that they kind of made Alex like normal and straight, and they made Poppy just a big weirdo. I feel like in When Harry Met Sally, they're both weirdos. It's not just like, oh, we're opposites because I'm quirky, but I'm just like a normal guy who runs. And as I started to meet Alex more throughout the rest of the film, I kind of liked his character more and felt like him and Poppy actually like fit together a bit better. So otherwise, I thought it was really solid.
I feel like I don't know. That's definitely a valid interpretation. But for me, why I kind of like it is that I think that opening scene, it really grounds Alex and makes him seem super boring, and it makes Poppy seem kind of crazy. But the reality is that's just how they were perceiving each other when they first met each other, which is often how you meet people. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has, second judgments when they meet someone based on the things that the person is presenting outwardly. So I feel like I kind of liked that, because until they stop at the motel and they actually start talking to one another, they basically are like these archetypes of, boring guy who's going to his hometown and manic pixie dream girl. And then they have one conversation, and then like once they're in that motel room with each other, the movie really takes off for me and like humanizes both of them. And like, that's when I see that they are friends and they are people, and like, you don't have to have everything in common with someone to be a friend.
Yeah, and it is sometimes like the opposites just work the best together, and they bring out the best in each other, and that's what really works. I really love Emily Bader's performance. I feel like she's the perfect Poppy. I know, again, people were like mad that neither of them are blonde. That doesn't matter to me.
Who cares?
Don't give a fuck about that. She's perfect. I love Tom Blythe as well, but I think Emily really stole the show. Like the way that she expresses, like just with her eyes, especially in the scene where she's like talking to Alex after he's just proposed to Sarah. Oh my gosh, like she wants to protest, but she can't. Like, her eyes are just welling with tears, and they're sparkling, and it's so emotional. But my favorite Tom Blythe scene obviously is the dancing in New Orleans.
So good. It's so
like the
good.
whole movie is 5 stars just because of that. Oh my god.
He just like lights up. Like,
yes.
and I imagine that's how someone like Alex would be, you know what I mean? Like she pushes him to his limit and he finally cracks. Like, and it's just that's why they deserve to be together, because they push one another in that way, and it's just so good.
I love it. And yeah, I love the look of everything, the costuming. I've been following along. The costume designer's been posting like all their inspiration, and it's just so perfect. And the settings and everything, and like the homage to the book cover at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I really like that. And like Emily's little cameo.
I love how they always put the author in at a wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was cute. Also, I thought the soundtrack was pretty good. Obviously, the Taylor Swift song, but there even just like songs I didn't know, I thought fit really well, and especially with like a Netflix. Like, I'm glad there's Taylor Swift because I love Taylor Swift, but like I'm also glad that it wasn't like, you know, every song I know it's like a radio song. So I don't know, it just felt very like fun rom-com. Like I miss like rom-com soundtracks, and that's how I would like find songs.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
And I feel like this one had that.
Yeah, the crowd went wild when August started playing and she showed up in that amazing dress.
Yes. It's just fun, like you were saying, it's fun to see people grow over time and like how their interests change and like what they're focused on changes a little bit.
Genuinely just more thought out than I would have expected. And I'm really glad that they recognized that the Emily Henry universe is really beloved, and this being the first adaptation, like they felt the pressure, and I'm glad because everyone really pulled through, I think.
Yeah. And I'm glad that Emily was involved in some way, because I feel like her touch is still a part of it. Like, even though it's not exactly the same as the book, I definitely feel like it feels in universe because the care was given.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the vacations that they chose, because I feel like it's a really good balance of like the fun and games, but also progressing the plot, progressing the relationship. That I actually think those scenes are quite well balanced, where they're fun to watch. There's fun moments that you brought up, the dance, the skinny dipping, and on the camping trip. Like, those moments are fun, they're funny, and they also bring you more into the characters and their relationship that sort of is the core of the movie.
Yeah, one thing that I also appreciate, and Emily definitely does this in all of her books, but I appreciated it in this movie. I find sometimes in rom-coms there is like the character who wants to like live life, and one that is like boring, and the boring one is like proved wrong by the one that wants to live life. But I feel like this one handles the characters really well in that like you actually can't be either extreme. Like, you can't be on vacation all the time, because that's not being a real human being. But then also, you know, if you never leave your 4 walls of your hometown, like maybe that's also not living life. And
exactly.
But I also feel like the perspectives from each character, like Alex and Poppy obviously, and then Alex's ex-fiance, like I liked the way that they handled all of those characters, because I feel like they all had like a real reason to want to do what they were doing and do what they wind up doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It does feel like they sort of, learn the best of both worlds, but it's like clearly like, they were lonely. They didn't know they were lonely. They didn't know they hadn't found their home until they realized that it was each other.
Can we talk about build up on these things? Because you guys love the build up, right? Like, that's like a big part of this. I find it to be an interesting balance to inspect about like how much do you give away early on about it's a rom-com, it's a movie, these two are going to end up together. Like, how quickly do you progress that, and how did you guys feel about like the pacing of that in this film?
I think it's really good, actually. I think that there's intrigue from both characters early enough where it never feels lopsidedly unrequited, which I feel like is usually my turn off with longing, is when it feels close to stalking kind of. And I feel like in this one, again, speaking to their performances, like I think you get glances, I think you get the way that both of the characters react to some of the things that the other character is doing or does. Like I think those little moments where you're kind of like, oh, it could be more. Like, they are friends, but it could be more from both of them. Yeah. And I think planting those little seeds along the way made this one feel like a genuine path forward, where they were both kind of just trying to figure out the right thing to do by one another, which I feel like obviously when he like proposes, it's like tragic, but he's like, I have to,
Yeah. And the way that it is like back and forth between the past and the present, it does add to that build up, because when they meet, that they haven't spoken for a while, but they sort of reluctantly but still click back into like their roles and their friendship and their fondness for each other. And then, yeah, just cutting back and forth, it really builds up to that moment where she's just like slashing the plastic and they just make out in the rain. So good.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I love the moment too where she's like, I just want to go back to the way things were, and he's like, well, I don't want that, but it's not for the reason that she thinks, and it's so good. I mean, that's just like classic rom-com, but I feel like because of the tension and also because of the years, and also because when you leave some stuff off the screen / off the page, you can infer, like the audience can infer some things have happened or haven't happened, and you know the buildup rises. And I think when you expand the timeline over so many years, you as a person understands that frustration. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you started having feelings in years 2 to 3, then like of course by now you would be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I feel like that is good in this story.
I really like that. Again, like I said, with the pacing, I feel like it's pretty good with that. Like it's sad. Obviously, people hate third act breakups. I don't know if I would say this one is really.
Yeah.
Because they barely were together. But obviously, they're going to have differences and different ideas of how they're looking forward in their relationship. But ultimately, their home is each other.
And kind of circling back to Xander's initial question, I feel like a lot of the longing and the buildup and the emotional payoff for me often has like very little to do with the intimate scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It is more about like the emotional weight of things. Like, and I think that again, like less is more sometimes. Like you don't need it. Like there's a time and a place for a movie like that or like a book like that. And I enjoy them, but like I feel like with a story like this, that feels like so, you know, warm and like it's just not about that.
I feel like it's a big enough payoff in this movie.
Definitely.
I feel like they have their steamy moment in the rain and a little bit afterwards. I don't know that you need that much more. I don't know how much more that gives you by having that. Especially because that's not the ending, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be the breakup. There's going to be the coming back together. And that's really the climax. This is kind of like a fake climax.
Mm-hmm. What Emily Henry are you most looking forward to?
I'm torn because I really loved this one, but I didn't have high hopes because it was lower on my stack for her books. So I would say like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for them to do Beach Read because that's my favorite. But I also kind of feel like Beach Read doesn't work if I see it.
Yeah.
Like there's something so weird about like Gus in that book where like when I read it, I'm like, he's perfect. But if I see it, I'm going to be like,
gross.
Like, yeah. So part of me is like, please never adapt that one.
I have faith though
because
because the writer of this is directing it.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be okay. And then I know Emily is working more closely on like actually writing scripts for her other ones. So hopefully they're good. I hope Happy Place gets a TV show.
Yeah, I feel like it was a solid modern rom-com.
Yeah, I really do believe in the power of a rom-com, and I do believe in the power of community and seeing something in a theater. So I feel like there should be more, you know, places and opportunities for people who have similar interests to like share in their interest in a public setting.
Hopefully we'll get to see at least one of these movies on the big screen.
I don't have anything else.
What is your closing
Madeline stole my question. I was going to ask what Emily Henry book you guys were most excited about to get adapted, but
I guess I didn't
already
actually answer.
covered
Just
it.
said
Wait,
not
funny
featured,
story.
Post Malone.
Stop. The Crow. I don't know why, because it doesn't look like it on the cover.
No,
But when I read that book, I imagined Post Malone as the guy.
that's
Which is fucking crazy because everyone else says Dylan O'Brien. I love him too.
Yeah. Honestly, I might say Happy Place because I feel like that's also like not like I mean I like all of her books, but like comfortably low on her list for me, where like
The stakes.
the expectations are just like I'd be happy to see anyone change it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be it.
well, maybe if they make a couple more of them, we can do a ranked episode
Yeah,
on
that'd
the
be
Emily
fun.
Henry books. Thanks for doing this little rat chat.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Movie you guys were both excited about, thought we'd cover it on the show.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it. And if you have, let us know what you thought.
Thanks for listening to this little rat chat. Tell a friend about the show. Let us know what your favorite Emily Henry book is. And I'm sure at some point we'll come back and talk about some more of them.
Bye.
Bye.